Welcome back to Channel Nation of Glory. Today's story is about a man who embodies faith, courage, and unbreakable spirit. A man whose life has been a living testimony that even in your darkest moments, faith and hard work can light the way. This is the story of Tua Tagovailoa, or as the world knows him, Tua Tagovailoa, the heart of the Miami Dolphins, and one of the most inspiring quarterbacks of this generation. Tua's story begins far from the bright lights of the NFL in the tropical beauty of Ua Beach, Hawaii. Born on March 2, 1998 to Samoan parents Galu and Diane Tagovailoa, Tua grew up in a home built on love, discipline, and deep faith. His family wasn't just close, they were unbreakably united. Every decision, every dream, was rooted in faith and family. From a very young age, Tua was different. While other kids played casually, Tua would sleep with a football by his side. When he played, he didn't just throw the ball, he made it dance in the air. His arm strength was legendary even as a child. Family stories say that, when he was just 8 years old, he could throw the ball over 30 yards, a sign of what was to come. His father, Galu, saw the gift in him early. But along with that gift came high expectations. Galu trained his son hard, sometimes too hard. He pushed him to be disciplined, focused, and respectful. The training wasn't easy. There were days when Tua felt exhausted, days when his father's voice was loud and demanding. But every moment was shaping him, preparing him for the journey ahead. Tua attended St. Louis School in Honolulu, the same school that produced another football legend, Marcus Mariota. Tua looked up to him, not as a rival, but as a role model. Mariota was a local hero, proof that a boy from Hawaii could make it to the biggest stage. And Tua dreamed of following that same path, not just to make it, but to shine. At St. Louis, Tua's talent was undeniable. His accuracy, poise, and natural leadership separated him from everyone else. Coaches said he had that special something you can't teach. He wasn't just a quarterback, he was a born leader. He could read defenses, stay calm under pressure, and make impossible throws look effortless. By his senior year, every major college program in the country wanted him. USC, Oregon, LSU, the offers kept coming. But Tua chose the University of Alabama. Why? Because of one man, Nick Saban. The legendary coach saw in Tua something beyond stats. He saw a winner, a young man built for greatness. But when Tua arrived at Alabama, he wasn't the starting quarterback. That spot belonged to Jalen Hurts, a star in his own right. Tua sat on the bench, waiting for his turn. Most players would have transferred, complained, or lost motivation. But Tua stayed patient. He worked hard in silence, believing that when his time came, he'd be ready. That moment came on the biggest stage imaginable. It was January 8, 2018, the College Football Playoff National Championship. Alabama was trailing Georgia at halftime. Their offense was struggling, and hope was fading. Then, in a shocking move, Coach Saban made a bold decision. He benched Jalen Hurts and sent in the freshman, Tua Tagovailoa. The crowd gasped. A freshman? In the national championship game. It sounded insane until Tua threw his first pass. He played with calmness beyond his years. He made throws that veterans would hesitate to attempt. And when the game went into overtime, with Alabama trailing once again, Tua took the field with everything on the line. On second down, he dropped back and unleashed a perfect, deep pass, a strike to Devonta Smith for the game-winning touchdown. The stadium erupted. Alabama had won the national championship, and Tua Tagovailoa had become a legend overnight. That night, he wasn't just the offensive MVP, he was the heartbeat of college football. A freshman who believed, a young man who turned faith into history. From that moment, Tua became a household name. His smile, his humility, his joy, everything about him resonated with fans. He wasn't cocky. He wasn't flashy. He was grateful. He often pointed upward, after every touchdown, a quiet reminder that his faith guided everything he did. But life has a way of testing even the strongest souls. After leading Alabama through incredible seasons, Tua's college career took a dark turn in November 2019. During a game against Mississippi State, he was tackled hard and didn't get up. The stadium went silent. He had dislocated his hip and fractured his posterior wall, a devastating injury that some doctors compared to the one that ended Bo Jackson's career. For most athletes, that would have been the end. But not for Tua. As he lay in the hospital, his faith was tested like never before. The pain was unbearable. The uncertainty was crushing. But even through the tears, he prayed. He said, "If football is taken from me, I'll still glorify God." That statement defined who he was, a man of faith before fame. After surgery and months of recovery, Tua began the long road back. Every day was a battle. Every step was painful. But he never lost his smile. Never lost his belief. And when the 2020 NFL Draft arrived, despite all doubts about his health, the Miami Dolphins took a chance on him, selecting him 5th overall. For Miami fans, it was a new beginning. For Tua, it was redemption. But the NFL isn't kind to rookies, especially those coming off major injuries. Tua's first seasons were filled with ups and downs. There were flashes of brilliance, moments where he looked unstoppable, and moments where the pressure weighed heavy. Critics questioned his arm strength, his durability, his leadership. But through it all, Tua stayed calm. He didn't fire back at reporters. He didn't make excuses. He just worked quietly, faithfully, consistently. In 2022, things took a frightening turn again. During a Thursday night football game, Tua suffered a horrifying concussion. The image of his fingers curling uncontrollably as he lay motionless on the field sent shockwaves through the sports world. Fans feared the worst. Players on both sides knelt in prayer. The next day, headlines were everywhere. Tua should retire. He'll never be the same. It's over. But once again, Tua defied the odds. With careful recovery, strong medical guidance, and unshakable determination, he fought his way back. When asked how he found the strength, he said simply, "My faith, my family, and my purpose." Those words weren't just answers, they were his foundation. When Tua returned to the field, he looked stronger, sharper, and more confident than ever. Under head coach Mike McDaniel, the Miami Dolphins built an offense that perfectly matched Tua's skill set: fast, dynamic, and explosive. With weapons like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, Tua's accuracy turned into art. He led the league in passer rating, and the Dolphins became one of the most exciting teams to watch. But what made Tua special wasn't just his talent, it was his heart. In press conferences, he thanked God first. He smiled when talking about his family. He credited his teammates before himself. In a world where ego often overshadows gratitude, Tua remained grounded. He carried himself with the same humility he had back in Hawaii. And when young kids came to him for autographs, he reminded them that greatness isn't about fame, it's about faith, hard work, and respect. Tua's journey is a reminder that true strength isn't shown when everything is going right, it's shown when you fall and get back up again. From a small island boy to a national champion, from career-threatening injuries to NFL stardom, every chapter of his life screams resilience. He showed the world that belief can move mountains, and faith can rebuild broken dreams. His parents, who once watched him throw passes in their backyard, now watch him lead an NFL team. His father's tough love, his mother's prayers, his family's support, all of it became the backbone of his success. And even now, when the bright lights of the NFL shine on him, Tua remains that same humble kid from Hawaii, grateful, grounded, and giving glory where it's due. In the end, Tua Tagovailoa's story isn't just about football. It's about faith. It's about falling and rising again. It's about knowing that no matter how many hits you take on the field or in life, you can always stand back up if your heart is strong enough. He once said, "My confidence doesn't come from me. It comes from knowing who I am, and whose I am." That's what makes him different. That's what makes him glorious. Thank you for watching the inspiring story of Tua Tagovailoa, a man who showed that faith is stronger than fear, and that every setback can become a setup for greatness. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Channel Nation of Glory, where we celebrate the heroes who fight, fall, and rise again. Because glory isn't given. It's earned through heart.